चलो yesterday's class YouTube link अभी नहीं upload हुआ है, still in the rendering phase, sorry for that. So yeah, I'll render that. ठीक है, start करें guys, start करते हैं. Till the end of the session you'll be able to get everything. What is this? Can't see it, I'll have to download it. Mukesh, what is this? Unable to accept करो ना invite. नहीं हो रहा है क्या? Is it not accepting? No, but it's working. Let me check. चल तो रहा है. Add your full name and just continue. I don't know why it's not working for you. It's working fine. The link is working fine, guys. चलो. Wait, I'll share it. It's fine. Wherever you land, just to let me know. And I just text down here on the general section. For the people couldn't still add to Discord. Just do it today by 4 o'clock. Please do it by 4 o'clock. Okay? Sure. All right, guys. So first of all, let's start off with the doubts. If you have any doubts, please put your doubts first, and then we'll move ahead and start to discuss few parts in CSS, important parts in CSS. Quickly, first give me your doubts. Doubts. People are joining, yeah. I don't know how you are not able to join. Guys, doubts? Doubts. Quickly. क्या? अरे यार अभिजीत ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Other people are joining and you are not able to join. Go to general server. General server पे जाके you can text there. Go to general server and then go ahead and text there. General server पे you can text. Any doubts on assignment? Yesterday's assignment? Assignment में doubt है कोई? Vijit, how is it possible? Can you see me? Like search somewhere and search my name. You will be able to see me. No, they'll not be embedded. Why will they be embedded? No, they'll not. अब सारा ही बोल दो अनिरुद्ध. बचा ही क्या है फिर? Question 1 बचा है बस. Question 1 और question 3 बचा है. Okay. How many of you want me to discuss the assignment first? We'll discuss the assignment and then we'll move ahead. चलो ठीक है. वैसे उस assignment में ऐसा कुछ है नहीं जितना चलो, but anyways we'll discuss it all. It's not here. I have so many channels. Where is it? What's the name of your group? I forgot. Wait. Where is your channel? Full stack dev है क्या? Oh, अच्छा यही है ना क्या अपना channel? Okay. No, I had another full stack dev also. Anyways. चलो डिस्कस करते हैं एक बार असाइनमेंट सिंपल है असाइनमेंट यार देयर इज नथिंग हार्ड एंड फास्ट इन द असाइनमेंट सो पहले तो व्हाट इज एचटीएमएल वेरी बेसिक appropriate examples for tables OLs ULs forms input labels self ending tags pretty much everything is covered out in this session कुछ explain करना है question number 1 Question number 2 was your research work, actually. Okay. This is kind of like a thing. Does anybody know? Yeah. Does anyone know what's this? How many of you know about this? How many of you know about this? You know it now? What are they called? No, they're not called as symbols. No. They're called as something. Can anyone tell me what are they called as? No, these are called as HTML entities. Okay. So if you'll go to Google and will search for HTML entities, you'll find a lot of HTML entities. यही था आपका research work. This was the only part you were supposed to complete. There are a lot of HTML entities. These are symbols actually. Okay. So I'll share you out with the link as well, just in case if you are interested to go ahead and have a look on it. So these are called as HTML entities. Using them, you can create symbols in your application. Remember yesterday in the session when I was giving you the assignment, I told you that in the footer, a lot of people write a copyright symbol and then they write it just like this, @copy. Everyone can see the symbol, right? The copyright symbol. Or I even told you about, @copy. And I even told you about that if I want to create, a HTML related document, I should be able to create symbols and should be able to write something in between them. Because if I write it less than and greater than sign, the HTML is going to render that. Remember? Guys, remember this? Yeah. So this is why I inserted this in your assignment. Like, I don't know why you didn't research, but you should have researched. Okay. And there are a lot of HTML entities. So we have codes for them. We have a lot of codes. We write and then whatever the code is going to be, or there is another code also. What is not correct in the PDF? Come again. What is not correct in the PDF? No, there is this LT, which shorts for less than. Then we have GT, greater than. Then we have less than equals. Then we have greater than equals. Then we have the codes for less than symbol and the greater than symbol. It's exactly the same. If you go across and find these up, you'll get them. All are correct. So it's not like something is missing off. Which one? Third and fourth symbol only. No. Search to karo, guys. Research. The more you'll research, the more you'll get into it. Right? But research karo inke bare mein. Everything you're going to find it out here. Everything is correct. Yeah. देखो सुनो मतलब हम कह रहे हैं जब सही है तो सही है ठीक है ट्राई टू रिसर्च अबाउट इट give it a time, give it a research, give it a little bit research. Okay. अरे यार चलो ये भी कर लेते हैं. So let's go into index HTML and let's go down here after the image and in the before the form, and let's try to talk about HTML entities. Okay, will that be fine? Will that be fine with you people? देखना है? देखना है? चलो. So there are a lot of entities. So as I just told you, so if I run this up on server, I don't need it down here. This. अरे LENG तो होता ही नहीं है. LEG कहाँ देखा है आपने असाइनमेंट डॉक में? LEG कहीं है असाइनमेंट डॉक में? मान यार कैसे बातें कर रहे हो आप? आप अगर ऐसी बातें करोगे तो फिर कैसे चलेगा? So guys, we have a lot of symbols as we just discussed. We have a lot of symbols. So in these symbols, you can use these symbols pretty much however that you want to. Okay, just a second. Okay, so you can use these symbols. I'll give you a little heads up on few symbols. For example, if you wanna write copyright symbols, so you'll write and copy, and please make sure that you put semicolons when they end, right? And let's say copyright, all rights reserved, or something like that. Let's say 2021 copyright. Save that, and here's where you get the symbol. Got the point? Guys, got the point? So this is how you can create symbols. Then you have something like less than, at the rate, and less than. And then here you can just go ahead and write, let's say head. And then you will have and greater than. Something like this. If I save this, you'll see a head tag getting printed down here. Does this make sense now? Human? Array spelling chodo na. The point is to understand this. Getting the point, symbols is fine. Okay? So this is how we do it. Okay? Low. Okay. If you say so. Third one, LTE and GTE. Okay. So if you'll go down here at the rate LTE. Wait a second. If it's, is it changed or something? Wait, I'll have to go around and check. Just a second, guys. Just a little second. Cool. अरे यार चलो स्टार्ट करें. We have already wasted pretty much half an hour of the session. करना है start. Let's start CSS. इसको last में discuss कर लेंगे. That's completely fine. I think rest of the things in the video, the assignment is pretty fine. We'll discuss about this everything. We have a lot of things to cover out in CSS, honestly speaking. Okay. And I'll also will give you a little heads up on question number 5. This will be really, really important for you when you'll have a little idea on the CSS part. Okay. So you will be able to design this. Okay. So start karte hain. Let's go ahead and let's start with the CSS part. You can go across with that. Okay. So I'm just gonna close this. Chalo. Let's start with CSS. Okay. CSS start. So I'm just gonna comment this out as well. Chalo. So yesterday in the session, we had to look into few things about CSS, which was directly related to specificity. Okay. Saurabh, if you go and open the assignment in the notes, there is everything written down there. Please read the notes. Okay. And the assignment submission time is going to be by 4 p.m. After that, I'll close the Google Forms. Okay. Please do that. Guys, these operational things we can do at the end of the session, right? The whole point to attend the session is to learn something, not to join something or anything like that. Please, yeah. These are all additional work. We'll do that. But the whole point here is to learn. If you're not learning, what's the point of getting added to Discord groups or something? Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Please ask these operational related questions at the end of the sessions, please. Will that be fine? Huh? Please, I request you. Please, yeah. Shall we start? Yeah, sure. Okay. So we have few things out here. That also will do that. So out here, as you'll see that we have a little bit of an HTML written down here, which is getting rendered. And at the end, we had to look on specificity part, wherein we said that, hey, something is specific. Now, when we were talking about specificity, the very important part that we learned out here was that if you're creating any specificity or anytime you're creating any selectors, the whole point you have to remember is that the specificity ranges starts from 0, 1, 2, and 3. The most specific is going to be the inline CSS part. Then it's going to be if you select something by ID. Then it's going to be if you select something by class, and the last if you select something by the element name or the tag name. Okay, so this is the specificity, and the specificity decreases over the period of time, right? Most specific is going to be inline, as you might have seen that in H1, as you'll see, even if I'm giving the color as indigo, it's not coming as the color has to be indigo. It's completely different else, because in H1, if you'll see, I've added the inline CSS part. So down here, if you'll see in the H1, I have style as to be red, right? So this is getting rendered up. Then we had to look on that if you are keeping something as ID, this will get rendered no matter what, right? So you'll see that the heading part is orange. Then we have paragraphs, which is an element, right? And so on and so forth. So we had to look on this specificity. So everyone is okay with the specificity part? Specificity makes sense to everyone? Guys, specificity makes sense to everyone? Sure? Pakka? Now, these are specificity. Today we are going to talk about something which is called as, and this is important, something which is called as your selectors. We only had to look on one selector, and that was an element selector. And we were selecting everything either by element or by ID or by classes or something like that. Okay. But there are a lot of other selectors as well. There are other selectors as well. Now, if you remember in yesterday's session, I told you that if you're talking about selectors, there are 3 types of selectors. Right? There are 3 types of selectors. One is your element selector, which we just had to look on in yesterday's session. So element selector. Then you have another one which is called as this, and this is important. This is called as pseudo selectors. These are called as pseudo selectors. And then you have something which is called as attribute selectors also. So we'll have a look on attribute selectors, and you'll use them depending upon what the problem statement is going to be. Depending on that problem statement, you will keep on changing these selectors. Okay. And I'll also will tell you how and when to use what, and this would be a little bit important. So try to wrap your head around with selectors. So today's agenda is going to be that we'll have a look on few things. What are we going to have a look on? We're going to have a look on colors, selectors, gradients, and color selectors, gradients, font family. We'll also have a look on font family, and I'll explain you what font family is. Okay, and we'll also talk a little bit about height and width. Height and width. What else could be given around? I'll also will talk a little bit about backgrounds, but yeah, yeah, a little basic part of at least the basic part of the CSS would be done. So this is we are keeping as per agenda. So I hope this agenda is fine. I hope the agenda is fine. Okay. We'll talk about all these things related to CSS, and if you'd be having any doubts, you can go ahead and ask. Alignment wala part will be done tomorrow. We're gonna have a look on flexboxes, grids, and all these things in the tomorrow session. Okay. Animations won't be covered off. Animations would that's a kind of like a advanced part, web kits and all that. So animations and all these things won't be covered off. But I'll give you a little hints here and there, just in case if you'd be interested in doing that, you can go ahead and have a look. I'll give you a little bit about animations, not too much, but yeah, you'll get a very clear understanding and you'll be able to create your own animations and do a lot of things. You can learn animations by your own. I'll just give you the intro and that's it. Okay, chalo, let's start off. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do, I am just gonna, I'm just gonna comment this everything off. Okay. Or can I get rid of it? You'll be able to find this off anyways in GitHub though. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. Okay. So let's start fresh with the CSS part. And also what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna get rid of this inline CSS, which I've written down here and save it. Okay, so this is a blank slate that we have here. Now, today we are going to talk about, as I said, we're going to talk about selectors. Now, for selectors, we had a look on first selector, which was the element selector. And for element selector, we saw that if you're trying to do something like, let's say, H1, and for H1, let's say you're keeping the color as to be, let's say indigo, let's say. Okay, so if you save this will turn into an indigo color, right? So this is a typical example of your element selector. So select anything with the element. What you can also do with element selectors is you can put commas and give different elements as well. Let's say H2 and anchor, let's say, I'm just giving you stuff. So if I save this, and you'll see all the anchors and all the H1 and H2 will all be selected and will be given a common style. Okay, so with element selectors, you can also do this. Okay, put comma, separate each element with a comma, and you'll be able to, apply styles to all the different elements that you want. Okay, so this is also applicable when you're talking about CSS, which is pretty cool. Now, element selectors is fine, but there are other selectors as well, as I just told you. There are few other selectors as well. I hope I do not need to explain you people about IDs and classes. IDs and classes, should I explain you? IDs and classes, you can use it. Okay. If you want, okay, let's take up an example. Let's say both H1 or so let's say H2, both the H2s are going to have a class, let's call it subtitle. You can keep it whatever you want. The name of the class is completely up to you. So I copy this, and for another H2 as well, I'm just going to paste this class. Anchor, the anchor tag. Anchor tag. Remember anchor tag? Right? Which just provides you to links. Okay. Now you can go down here, paste your classes, and let's say here the color property, I'm just going to give it as, let's say, green or green yellow, something like that. No, green yellow is looking bad. Green. Okay. So if I save this is how it looks like. Okay. So you can also use classes, you can also use IDs, you can use whatever you want, which is like pretty cool. Right. Now, the important part. Class button dark. That is Bootstrap. This is Bootstrap. This is Bootstrap. Okay. Yeah. Now, let's talk about pseudo selectors. Let's have a look on pseudo selectors. Try to understand these pseudo selectors, because for the people, are you all ready? Because for the people who look into pseudo selectors for the very first time, they get confused. And that is, I have seen over the period of time, in pseudo selectors, people who look into CSS for the very first time, they get confused. So are you ready? If you're ready, we can start off. Shall we? Start kare? Now, what are pseudo selectors? Pseudo selectors basically styles some already existing actions to an element. What did I just say? Listen to me carefully. They style few already existing actions and relationships to a particular element. What does this mean? Let me give you an example. Let's say, I'll add a pseudo selector, which is called as hover. So what I want to do, I'll say h2, and then I'll put this weird looking colon. And here I'll just use something which is called as hover. Okay, hover is a pseudo selector. Okay, and down from here, I'll say, let's say the color will change to, let's say, red. Okay, if I save this and go back, you'll see when I bring my cursor inside it, the color changes. Can you see that? Can you see that? Right? And this is for all the other H2s as well. Right? Now you can make the font a little bit bigger so that it looks like, okay, I hovered over onto something or something like that. Now you can do whatever you want to. You can change the colors, you can change the font, you can change the font weight, you can change what we'll talk about fonts weights and all that. But yeah, you can do whatever you want to. I'm just changing the color. You can add animations here. You can use whatever you want to. It's completely up to you. Does this make sense? Pseudo selectors? Yes. After hovering, you can have a look on it, just like this. Make sense? Hover means when you bring your cursor onto something. Just like this. If you bring your cursor on this part, you will see that it will just tell you what is this. Got the sense? So this is called as hover effect. Okay. So this is few things. Now, if you're talking about forms, when we'll be doing forms, then I'll explain you. In forms also, you have something, subtitle part. This is a class. I've given the class as to be the subtitle in the HTML, right? Class subtitle. That's why I'm putting a dot in front of it. Okay. So this is how it works. Abhinav, I just told you, animations is kind of like an advanced CSS, which most probably won't be covered out in the session. So if you're looking for that, I think the session is not for you. Okay, so animations, I'll try to cover out, but not sure about it. How much can I cover the animations part? Guys, start karen. Let's move ahead and few to talk about relationships as well. Shall we talk about relationships? Shall we talk of the relationships? Chalo. So these are effects that you can use. Okay. And your assignment for today is going to be that you have to check out few other pseudo selectors as well. Few pseudo effects as well. For example, you have something which is called as after, before, content, queue, and all these things. These are all pseudo selectors. Okay. So please go ahead and have a look on them. And if you get stuck anywhere, to let me know. I'll help you out with that. Okay. Now in pseudo selectors, as I told you, these basically gives you a way to access few actions, default actions, and relationships to an element. Element related relationships, element related actions, all these things, you can have a look on them by using your pseudo selector, just like hover. Just a second, guys. So apart from hover, you can use after, before, all these things. You can go ahead and use them. And they pretty much are gonna start to make more sense if you'll be using, JavaScript more often, right? But yeah, there are a lot of pseudo, and that's why I'm saying go ahead and have a look on few other pseudo selectors as well. You can use it with classes and IDs as well. So let's say if I say subtitle, if I call the subtitle, let's say this subtitle, if I copy this, bring this down, if I comment this out, and say subtitle pay. If I hover, then I want to do is to change the color. Change the color to, let's say, yellow, so that you see the prominent effect. Okay. Again, if you bring this down, just like this, they will change. Got the point? Okay. So you can do this. So it's not like pseudo selectors are only for elements. Whatever you're selecting, you can select the element with ID, class, element, whatever you want to. You can go ahead and use your pseudo selectors just like this. Okay. Now let's talk about relationships. Relationships के बारे में start करें. Shall we start to talk of relationships? Huh? Guys, shall we start to talk of relationships? Let's do one thing. Let's say I'll copy this, paste it down 4 times, and in the OL, let's give it a class of let's say ordered. Let's say ordered. Okay, and let's say my numbered list item, and let's also give them the name like this. So let's say 1 or something. Okay, and then let's change this to 2. Okay, so this is what gets rendered. Okay, few list items gets rendered out here. Now what do I want? I want to style them based on the relationship. Okay, these relationships might confuse you up a little bit, but try to wrap your head around with them. Let's say I've given it a class of ordered. Okay, let's try to grab this using a class ordered, and I want to do something with this class ordered. Now in this class ordered, let's say I want to have an access to my first child. So there is a pseudo selector called as first child. And what will happen if I try to change the color of that first child as to be, let's say red or something. If I save this and refresh, you're going to see that nothing happened. You're going to see that nothing happened. Can someone tell me what's the reason why? If for the people who might have had to look on CSS, I just want to ask what's the reason why. I'm having a look on the first child to a class which is ordered. So as you'll see, I have a class as ordered, but nothing goes in. Typically, this should have got selected, but it's not getting selected. Can someone tell me why? For the people who have had look on HTML, and this is important to understand actually, that what's going wrong with this. Can someone tell me that? Anyone who could tell me this? At least try. Anyone? Because there are multiple LIs, that's what we are trying to access. See, I have given this the class of ordered. Okay, chalo. Let's try to change this to color me, because the UL contains a class of color me. So let's copy this and let's paste it down here. Color me, first child should be red. Now if I save this, again reload my page, nothing happened. Can someone tell me why? Can someone tell me why now? I'm doing the same thing on the parent, color me, and I'm trying to access the first child, but it's not working. Can someone tell me why? It is linked with what? Let's try to inspect this, and I also will try to tell you how to inspect something and see the style. So are you ready? Let's have a look, and this is also important. Okay, let's inspect the styles. Okay, let's inspect the styles. So down here, if you'll see that I have a LI, right? I have an LI. So let's go ahead and have a look on them. Now down here, you will see you will be able to access all the styles which are applied to them, right? All the styles are applied to them. Now down here, you can add something to these styles. Let's say I want to add something to this LI. You'll see that the color is down here. You can also change the style from here itself. You could say color, and let's say the color that I want to add is red, and this will get added automatically. Okay, so you can also use your developers tool, but again, if you refresh it, it will be gone. But yeah, just for trying purposes, you can actually go ahead and do that. Got the point? Got the point? Got the point, guys? Right? So you can apply these styles and then again come back to your style sheet and do whatever you want. Okay. Now, out here, now again, the point still remains the same, that we are having a class has to be color me, but still this first child is not getting accessed. Can someone tell me why? There is a very important reason that I'm giving you all this. Can someone tell me why? Quick. Try to wrap it. Now, a lot of people were saying that they had a look on CSS. Now I want to see how much CSS you've done. Relative link to CSS. We have added CSS already. No. I want to access it using a class. If I access it like this, let's say if I say OL and try to access this way, save that, and still, oh, something is wrong with this. Wait a second. We have a UL, right? Or maybe let's keep it this way. That we're keeping it, let's say OL. First child. And let's say if I keep the color as to be, let's say, red or something, this should have got applied though. No, not like this. This is not recent, but this was supposed to be just like this. I don't know why this is not getting. Let's try last child though. OL last child. Now this is, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, makes sense. So here we'll have to use something called as nth child. Nth child. And let's say the nth child that I'm going to give is 3. But even we do not have a nth child. Okay. So we have OL. Okay, got it. Did anyone understand this part? If I see last child and then everything gets selected off. Can someone tell me why? I'm tapping onto OL and I'm saying OL's last child and everything is getting selected off. Can someone tell me why? Huh? Anyone? Did anyone understand this? Look into the HTML carefully, very carefully. Look into the HTML. Look into the HTML and try to see what's going on. Now I'll tell you what. Now, are you confused enough? Are you confused enough? If you are confused enough, tell me yes. Then I'll tell you what's the right way of using these selectors. Are you ready? Are you ready? Sure. Now, yahan pe, this was a right way to understand. And now I'll tell you the reason I confused you everything. The exact reason was that if you are trying to see, if you try to see child perspective, the OL will be the parent. Guys, now just listen, don't say anything. Just try to understand. Just try to understand. If for these LI's parent is going to be OL, yes, because OL is wrapping all the LI's, yes or no? Guys, yes or no? But here, the pseudo selectors work on a different way. What is the problem here? The problem here is this class and where this class has been put in. So what happens down here is that if you have a class like this, the styles will not get applied. I'll tell you why. If I cut the style from here and paste it to all the LIs, just like this, and paste the class as to be ordered, let's say, and now if I save this, okay, nothing's gonna happen down here. But now what I'll do is for this ordered class, ab isko zara dhyan se samajhna, what's the name? Ordered, right? Let's copy this and let's go back to styles. And now let's check out dot ordered. And now let's color this up. Let's say colors, not columns, color. And let's say the color now is to be red. Now if I save this, And here in the ordered, I want to look into the first child. Now, if I save this, now you'll see that only the first child will get selected. Now, did you get the point that what people generally make a mistake and what's the right way of using these relationships? And this is really important to understand. Did you understand this? Did you understand this? Did you understand this? This is how you actually use the correct CSS. What a lot of people do, they think, oh, this is the parent, so we have to add a class out here. But you realize that when you were using last child, now did you get that at the last time by all the LIs will get selected? Now you realize that? Now you realize that? If you're adding something as to be a first child or last child, I don't know why this is weird for CSS to look into like that, but here the children will get the class rather than getting the parent as to be the class. Did you get the point now? Guys, did you get the point now? That what are we gonna have a look on it? See, when you talk about relationships, the relationships down here is kind of like a little weird. Now, if you're talking about a relationship, if let's say if I'm saying there is a UL, that UL contains 3 LI, so the whole point of this to understand is going to be that the UL is the parent and the LI are the children. Yes? Guys, yes or no? The whole point here to understand is this. In pseudo selectors, you're calling something called as first child. And you're saying in the pseudo selector something called as second child. Or there is nothing like second child, rather last child. So last child or nth child. Now here, these children are not based on UL. These are based on the LI. Getting the point? Children as who is the children? The LI is the children. We are not targeting the parent, we are targeting the children. Getting the point now? Now you're getting the point. Now, if you go ahead and have a look back onto your code, then you'll realize that now here, if in the CSS, if I try to select from the ordered for rather than selecting first child, if I select the last child and give it a color of, let's say, yellow, so that you'll be able to see. Now, if I save this, now the last child will have a yellow color. Does this make sense now? Does this make sense now, people? So please, please, please keep this in mind. Here, we are not targeting the parent, we are targeting the children. So children should have a class, but the parents should have a class. Got the point? Everyone is okay with the point? Understood? And then there is another property also. So if I have my class name NOL, also the no, I just showed you. If I'm having a class in OL, nothing will get selected. Okay, ordered is not the parent, Bhavani. Ordered is not the parent. वही तो समझा रहा हूँ तब से. Ordered is not the parent. Ordered is the list element. Get that point first clear in your head. Got the point? Everyone got the point? Here, the ordered is not OL. Ordered is LI. That is why we are saying first child, last child. So here we don't give the class to the parent, we give the class to the children. Got the point? For us to use relationships, parents shouldn't have the class, the children should have a class. Okay. And similarly, you have another thing down here, which is called as nth child. So let's say ordered, and let's keep nth child. So in the nth child, you can give the number of the child. So let's say number 2, which is number 2 child. And let's give it a color of, not columns, color of, let's say, what do we have? Let's say coral, let's say. So you'll see now number 2 will have a coral color. Got it? No. Okay. So, okay. I'm asking to the other people. So let's say I want to look something like this. I say ordered first child. And then from first child, I want to look into the hover property. Can I do that? Can I do that? If let's say, if I'm commenting this out for a while, if I comment this out for a while and give it a color of red, do you think that this will work? How many of you think that this will work? Huh? So let's save this, refresh this, and see, this will work. Got the point? This will work. So you can add as many pseudo selectors as you want to, but keep in mind, how are you using these pseudo selectors? Now this makes sense. Pseudo selectors and relationships. If you're good with pseudo selectors and relationships, quickly give me a yes and we'll move ahead. Perfect. How many of you knew about this, by the way? कितने लोगों को पता था इसके बारे में? You know it? Oh, Kushagra, जब मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था तो तुमने आंसर नहीं दिया. I was asking you why is it not working and you were none. Come on. But you got the point, right? You got the point. Okay? Yeah. All right. है ना? हाँ भाई. So this stays confusing. Now I hope you'll remember this all the time. Will you remember this? So pseudo selectors, not to the parent, to the children. Okay? Please keep that in mind. Okay. Now, next thing that we're gonna have a look on is going to be, let's see, what else can we do? Let's have a look on links, shall we? Links ke baare mein thoda sa discussion kar lete hain because we haven't seen links as of now. So let's have a look on these links, shall we? So there is a Google link, right? So in the Google link, let me give it an ID and let's call it Google-link, let's say. Okay. Now in the Google link, I want to style this Google link somehow. Okay. So I'll say hash Google link and I want to write something. Now for the very first thing that you do with links most of the time, and a lot of developers hate this, but you see an underline below at the anchor tag. Everyone can see that? A weird looking underline you will be able to see. So there is a property in the CSS which is called as text decoration. So in the text decoration, by default, it's irritating. So by default, it's set to underline, but you can set it to none. And the moment you write none, you will see that it will get rid of the underline. Okay. There are a lot of other properties as well, which is called as like dotted. So if you'll see that it will give you a dotted, it could be an underline. So you'll see it will be an underline, but most of the people they just keep it none, right? Just keep it none and it's all set. Okay. So you can set this all way around. Now I want to give you one more. The reason I was telling you about the link, that there is one more thing that I just want to tell you, and just understand the whole point. Once you understand the point, you will be able to understand what's going on in the pseudo selectors. Are you ready? One very important part that a lot of people will be doing on the links. So if you're ready, just give me a yes. We'll start off that. Shall we? Now, I'll only will be able to show it to you once, because once it's done, the damage is done. Just please keep that in mind. So let's say if I go on to the Google link, okay, and in that Google link, I have something which is called as visited. Yeah, visited. So visited, once you visit, then that color or something will be applied forever. Forever. Once you click on that, it will be changed forever, specifically links. Okay. And you can use these links and you can just check if somebody or something has visited, and then you just want to go ahead and style that off. You can actually go ahead and do that. So let's say once it's visited, I'll change its color to black forever. Okay, because by default it's indigo, because I don't know, like it's blue by default, but yeah, we'll change the color to black forever. So if I save this and just have a look, if I click on the Google link, this will open. But if I go back to my document and refresh the document, wait a second, this should have worked. Oh, I didn't write it correct. Google-link. And let's also keep it to the target property has to be blank, because that's annoying. Underscore blank. Okay. So let's keep it this way. All right. Now, if I go across with, where is it? I done something wrong. Target has to be underscore blank. Where is the link? Where's the link gone? Is it converted to blank already? Where is the link? I literally cannot see the link. Oh, this is the link. Oh, it's already converted to black. Okay, so as I told you, it's just gonna happen like once. But anyways, we'll get rid of the anchor. We'll create another anchor. Okay, so let's say again the same thing: HTTPS www.google.com, and let's say Google. Just call it Google. Okay. Again, if I save this, this will come back to its original form. But now what we'll be doing, we'll keep the target has to be blank so that I'll be able to show it to you once more. Target blank, pretty cool. And let's also give it an ID of same, let's say Google dash link. Okay. Now, if I save this, you'll see it's visited already. The damage is done. It cannot be undone. Got the point, right? You'll see that the moment I give it an ID of Google link, it changes its color to black because it's already visited. Got the point, people? Let's keep it something else rather. Let's say github.org because the link is already done. Will not be able to open it. So let's call it Google link 1, let's say. Okay, Google link 1. Now you'll see it will be back. But again, if I do the same thing on Google link 1 and I say Google link 1 visited, now you'll see it will automatically change because we've already visited to that website. Got the point? I hope you got the point. So there is something which is called as visited. Once it's visited, the damage is done. Got the point? But again, you can change this using JavaScript and all that. Okay? Got the point, people? If you're good till here, just quickly give me a yes, then we'll move ahead. Understood? Yeah? Sure. Nice. So visited property. All right. I think we're good with pseudo selectors. Let's move ahead and start to discuss on a few other parts. Okay. Now, what are we going to discuss? We're going to discuss on two property selectors. Are you ready? Or not property selectors, actually attribute selectors. Attribute selectors. Okay. So it will change the link color. We can't visit again to the link. We can visit to the link. It's not like we can't. We can visit to the link, but the styling will change. The functionality is going to remain the same, but only the styling will change. That's it. Arey, Human, you didn't attend my HTML sessions or something like that? Huh? You didn't attend my HTML sessions? Target blank means it will open it to the new tab. That's it. Okay. So that's the case. That's why I'm keeping the target has to be blank. It will open on a next tab or a new tab. Okay. Sure. So let's have a look on attribute. This is more interesting actually. If you're interested, we can have a look on it. Shall we? Do you want to have a look? This is more interesting. I'm not pretty sure how many of you have seen attribute selectors or not, but let's do this. Shall we? Let's do this. Okay. Let's do this. Now for that, no, it will not. It will still be like the same because it's visited. That's what we are saying. Visited, once the damage is done, it's done. Even if you reload the page, no matter what. Okay. So that's why I'm saying it this way. Got the point now? You got the point, isn't it? So let's say for this to explain you people, I will download an image. Okay. I will just download a very simple image. Just a second. Just give me 1 second, guys. Huh? Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Never mind. So yeah, coming back. Let's say I'll just download an image. All right. Let's say I already have an image down here, a JPG image. let's say, let's download a sample JPG image. Okay, just a normal JPG image. Let's go ahead and download that. Okay, so let's say this. Let's say this. Okay, so I'll download this image. Let's just save image as, and let's say let's go to desktop. Let's go to FSD workshop, and in the assets, let's download this and let's save this as, we have named this as picture, right? So let's keep it picture underscore 2 and let's save that, right? So as you'll see, it's downloaded. Cool, makes sense. So now let's do is that in the second image that we have down here, the second image, we have image 1 and image 2. Okay, so in the image 1, let's keep it this way, that in the image 2, let's give it an image2.jpg and save that. Okay, so you'll see an image 2 down here. Everyone can see that? Okay, so I downloaded an image and I put it down here. The name of the image is picture 1 and picture 2. Okay, na? All good till here? So I have 2 images here. So yeah, I hope no issues till here. All good? Guys, all good? Sure? Sure? Sure. Now I'm going to talk about something called as attribute selectors. And most of the time, you're going to make use of these attribute selectors only at the time when you're having links with you. When you'll have links with you, then only you will be doing this most of the time. I'm talking about most of the time you'll be doing these things with attribute selectors as when you'll be having links. Now out here, let's say I am targeting onto any image that I have in my whole document. So I'm saying image, whatever image that I have. Now this is an element selector that I'm using. And how do you use attribute selector? You use enclosing them in square brackets, just image, just like this. And now what I want to do, I want to say that in the image, I will have a source attribute. In that source attribute, I want to only style something which ends with, let's say, which ends with. So ends with means dollar, which ends with what? .jpg. As you'll see in the assets, both the files have an extension of jpg. So source is going to contain jpg. And now what I'll do, I'll simply will say, hey, for this, I want to set a border. Now we'll talk about borders when we'll be doing box models, most probably tomorrow. But yeah, for that, I will use a border of, let's say, just for you could see, let's say 10 pixels, solid, and let's say black. Or let's not do black. Let's keep it something like, let's say, a yellow border or something like that. Now, if I save this, you'll see both the images will get selected. Everyone can see that? Everyone can see that both the images got selected. Can someone tell me why both the images got selected? Because both the images contain the source of JPG at the end. What? I will give it to you. As I told you, operational things we'll do at the end of the session. Wait. First, understand things, guys. There is no point having sessions and all this, but try to understand this. Attribute selectors, you will only use them most of the time with the links. And in the links, here you have to keep in mind the dollar part. Everyone got the point? Got the point? Attribute selectors. Does this make sense? Most of the time used with links. And this is how we use it. Okay. Now what I want to do, I'll also will show you something which starts with something. Okay. Which starts with something. So for starts with, you have to do the same thing. But here you will have to do is that I'll comment this off for a while so that you will see that the stylings would be gone. Oh, I'm keeping it both ways, right? But here I'll just put star in front of it. Star means which starts from something. Now, as you'll see, both the links start from ... /, and this also starts with ... /, right? So let's say Here I'll say dot dot forward slash. Again, if I save this, reload, you'll see will work. Got the point? So star means starts from, dollar means ends from, and you can use them however that you want to. Now let's say if just for a while, if I grab this out and put it out in the folder and move that somewhere else, okay, and here now the picture is gone, but I'll bring that picture back in the HTML. So just so you could see the difference. So I have picture 1. Where is my picture 2? My picture 2 is here. So let's grab that picture 2. So in that picture 2, I'll have dot dot forward slash and save that. Now again, it will have, because we are saying whichever starts from dot dot forward slash, and you'll see that it's still having dot dot forward slash, but now I need to know that it's in the folder or not, which will be dot dot forward slash assets. Now if I save this, you'll see first will be styled because it's still in the folder, but the second one will not get styled because it's out of the folder. Got the point? Guys, getting the point? Everyone can see the difference between both of the things, because this image is getting starting from dot dot forward slash assets, but this is not having assets in the link, so this will not get selected. Got the point? Everyone is okay with this? Everyone is okay with this? Sure? Sure? Pakka? Perfect. Okay, so you can use them however that you want. There is another thing also, which is that if some link contains something, okay, so that way you can just be like source, which contains something. Anyhow, it just should need to contain something, okay. So in that case, you have to do is dot your forward slash and star and put equals, and you can write it this way, okay, and you can write whatever you want to. But most of the time you're not going to use it. So, but just for your reference purposes, I'm just going to keep this. But keep in mind, if you have dollar, this dollar means ends with, not focus with, ends with, and then you have something which is called as star, which basically means starts with. Okay, so once you have that, please keep that in mind. This is how you can use attribute selectors. If you're good with attribute selectors, quickly give me a yes, then we'll move ahead. Yeah, correct. Okay, so you can use it however that you want. Got it? There is one more thing. If you don't get confused, I can tell it to you, but might be a situation that might get a little bit confusing for you. Do you want to have a look? So in the attribute selectors, also you can select classes as to be an attribute, because class is also an attribute, right? Just like anything. Dot forward slash means wherever it just needs to the link should contain this keyword. So we're putting dot star, then you're saying, hey, the link should contain this keyword or this phrase or this string. Okay, so that is forward slash star. Source forward slash star means whatever link that you're giving after equals to, that should contain in the link. That's the only part. Twinkle, make sense? Okay, make sense now? Okay, perfect. Now, one more thing. Oh no, that is React. That is not HTML, CSS. That is React. That is nothing. That is React. That is not that way. So the people who code in React, they write class name. In the comment also. Okay. So if you have dot star, that means should contain. Okay. And I'm just gonna stick it. Okay. So I've written that in the comment as well. Chalo, guys, start karenge abhi. Should we start? Next thing. So keep in mind, even class is an attribute to an element. Okay, so you can also select something based on a class, but you'll not use it. But yeah, let's say you want to select. Okay, let's keep it this way. Okay, let's say this also has a class of subtitle. The paragraph also has a class of subtitle. And now if I save this, everything will look like a subtitle, right? Everything is looking like a subtitle. But what do I want? I want in the paragraph, which has a class of subtitle, I want to style them differently and I want to keep the headings as to be different. I can do that. I want that heading class should be different. The paragraph class should be different. I can have such a requirement. No, the better way, Preeti, is going to be is to use your attribute selectors. Here you can be like the paragraph, and in that paragraph, if I have a class attribute as to be subtitle, then I need to do something is to keep the color as to be black. Let's say. Now, if I save this, you'll see this will come back to black. Got the point? Got the point? If you have same class to multiple different elements, you can select that this particular with the class of something, because class is also an attribute to an element. So yeah, attribute selectors does work here. And you can change the color to be any color. Maybe let's say white, so it will be like completely gone, right? Just like this. Got the point? Guys, got the point? So you can use attribute selectors also. Quick yes, and then we'll move ahead quickly. Then we'll start to talk of colors and gradients and all these things. Are you ready? This much amount of things make sense? Sure? Anyone who's getting confused? Anyone who's getting confused? Anyone who's getting confused? No? Sure? Arun be like, कुछ तो हो रहा है. क्या हो रहा है वो पता नहीं. Arun, you fine? Huh. I always share it to my GitHub and I'll give you the link at the end of the session. Okay? I'll do that. Don't worry. So you can have this cheat sheet with you. So now we're going to start off with my favoritely interesting part, colors, which I'm very, very horrible at. But yeah, colors. I cannot even select colors of my own shirts and t-shirt, but never mind. I can do it for CSS. Okay? Yeah. So, ready? Now I'm honestly, I don't know why I find it like girls are pretty good at like styling and CSS and all these things. Guys, do you agree? Specifically boys. I have a very, very bad handwriting and I used to like draw so bad. Like when I used to be a kid, I used to be so bad with colors. I'm not saying like, but my mom actually told me कि तुम रहने दो, ठीक है? तुम तो सही में रहने दो, तुम कभी drawing मत करना. And I was like, thanks, I really needed that. But yeah, and after that, I didn't pick up any brushes or colors or anything. I'm literally bad at colors and I'm literally bad at styling. I just go with standard stylings. I don't know. Like that's really bad for me. You could see that I was literally struggling with what color should I pick up. So yeah, I'm very bad at colors, but never mind. Okay, so सही है, सारी चीजें सही हैं. Attribute selectors, everything that we have talked about, visited, non-visited, anchors, classes, star, starts with, ends with, everything is fine. All good? Sure? Sure. Perfect. So let's start with colors. Yeah, I go with that, son, and I love that part. Okay? Yeah, I love that part. Chalo. So if you are bad with colors, just like the way I am, I'll highly will recommend you go ahead and use this, which I'm about to use though. But yeah, so no. Just go to Google Color Picker. So just go to Google, and you don't have to do anything. Just go down here and just write Color Picker. That's it. That's it. That's the literal thing that you have to do. That's it. And select whatever color you want. First of all, you will select the color from here, right? Maybe a red color, maybe a yellow color or something of a color. You just select the color. Okay. But before going into colors, I want to talk about height and width. If you're okay with that, can we have a look on height and width? Yeah. Well, let's quickly have a look on. I'm not gonna go too much in detail about it. But yeah, I'll give you a very basic idea. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's do one thing before services. Let's create a empty container here, just an empty container. Okay, so just before the services, where is my sorry for that. I'm really sorry for that. Sorry, I'm such an idiot. Oh, never mind. Let's say I have a div down here. Let's give it a class as to be, or let's give it an ID basically. Why give it a class when you can give an ID? Okay, so let's give it an ID of, let's say, container one. Let's say you can name it whatever you want. Okay, so let's say container one. So let's copy this, save this back, and let's grab this ID as for container one down here, right? So I have an container one. Now for that container one, you can set the height and the width, and it's a very important property though. So you can use height and width of some empty container, because if you remember div, guys, remember div, which I told you, it's just basically like an empty container. You can put whatever you want to inside it. But yeah, you can set a height and width property of the same. Height and width are really important properties. So yeah, that's what I'm explaining here. So here you can set a height value, and you can also set a width value. Now I just don't need to explain what height and width are. You're pretty English enough to know what height and width basically are. Okay. So there are a lot of unit of measurements in CSS, and I'm not gonna go too much inside it, but I just want to like talk to you, and please keep this in your assignment link or assignment part, that you have to have a look on few units of measurements. I'll be giving you few, you have to explore the rest of them. Okay, so when you talk about units of measurements in CSS, so you have to be very specific about what is to be done at what time. Units of measurements are basically of two types. One is the, absolute unit. And then there is something which is called as a relative unit, right? Absolute unit are going to be something like centimeters, millimeters, pixels, and all these inches, right? These are absolute. You know what is an inch, you know what is a centimeter, you know what is a millimeter, and all these things, you know them. But when you talk, these are exact. 1 centimeter for you, 1 centimeter for me, it's going to be exact. But then there are few relative unit as well. Relative unit, I'll talk about relative unit in a while, but there is something which is called as view height, view width, percentages, EMs, REMs, and a lot of different other relative units as well. Okay, if I would have time, I would have gone through each and everything, but we'll talk about that sometimes, maybe in the near future. If we'll be having any workshop, we can talk about this in very detail. But keep in mind, go through it, take it to your research work, and try to wrap your head around with them. Most of the time, if you're a good developer, most of the time, 90% of the time, you'll be using relative unit. The reason relative unit is going to be that this relative to your viewport. Viewport, pata hai? Where you're watching it. Now, for me, listen to me carefully. For me, my device width will be something. For you, your device width will be something. When you use relative unit, your CSS basically takes part based on your device width, rather than having something absolute unit like pixels or inches or stuff like that. You're getting the point? Why am I saying that relative unit are more important as compared to that of absolute unit, right? So have a point that use relative units as much as you can, like view height, view width, percentages, EMs, REMs, and all that. Use as much as you can, but again, it's not like that you don't use absolute unit at all. You can, but it's like minimalize that as much as you can. Go with relative unit as much as you can. Okay, so yeah, so let's have a look on the few. So let's go back to the code and let's try to figure it out. Okay, so for, let's say, for height, I'm just gonna keep, and please don't keep it this way. 400 pixels for your device width is going to be different. 400 pixels for my device height or my device height is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so I'm just gonna call it 400 pixels. And now if you save this and refresh, you're going to see that there is a huge 400 pixel gap getting created down here. If you try to inspect this, this is how it looks like. Okay, so this is your container, which now has a height. Before it didn't used to have it, because again, if you go ahead and comment this off and save it, The height is nothing. By default, any empty container doesn't have any height or any width, but you can set these heights and width pretty much however that you want to. So I'm setting the height as to be 400 pixels. Again, if I save this, you'll see the height to get into 4 pixels. But width, I want to have it for 70%. And I'll explain it to you. What do you mean by 70%? Now, if I save this, and if you try to inspect this container now, you'll see it will only take, just have a look on the blue color. It will only take the 70% of your screen size, whatever the screen size is going to be, even for the mobiles or tablets or desktop or whatever things that you have. Okay. And even if I scroll this page up a little bit more, you will still realize it will take 70% of the device. So that is why I was saying relative units are way better than the absolute unit. Get the point now? Get the point now? 70% of whatever you see. And that whatever literally could be whatever, a mobile or tablet or a desktop or whatever you want to. Got the point, people? But what is the difference between 70% and 70 view width? It's pretty much the same. Even if you keep it view width, it's pretty much the same thing. You will see the same thing getting rendered down here. View width, view height. See, when you're talking about view width and width 70%, that's pretty much the same. But that would be a blunder if you try to keep it this way. If you keep it view width and save that, this will be a little bit of blunder, right? You could see this will be a blunder. Got the point? So view width for a width is fine. View height for a height is fine. As you'll see, as you'll again will see. Okay, that is fine. But please keep it this way, that most of the time, what I have learned, like through the experience, keep the height as to be absolute and keep the width as to be, however that you want it, or in the relative unit. This works actually. And this is a good way. Okay, it's kind of like a hack that I've learned throughout with my experience, but yeah, you can use it however that you want to. Okay, so height for height is fine, width for width is also fine. So I'm just gonna actually make it 300. It's looking too much. So let's keep it 300. So this is the container that we have just created. Everyone can see the container. Everyone is able to see the container now. Okay. Now, as of now, let's keep the color as to be, let's say, black, so that you'll be able to see the container. Oh, what have I done? Let's keep it black. Okay, so that you'll be able to see the container. Now, by default, as now you'll see that the color is still black. Just give me a second, guys. Huh? Sorry. Now, here you will see that even if I'm keeping the color as to be black, listen to me. Height is absolute and width be relative better, right? Yeah, it's better. It's definitely better. Now, coming back, as you'll see, I'm giving the color and color is not getting black. Can someone tell me why? For not to the people who have learned CSS, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the people who are looking into CSS for the very first time. And I don't know, when I was learning CSS, this confused me a little bit. So I always try to take onto this question. Guys, color black, but still the color is not black. Why? Exactly. There is no text. Color is basically means text color. So there is no text. If you want to set something, yeah, it's a font text. It's a font color, the text color. If you want to set the color here, you will be using a very important property called as background. The background property. Now, background is a very big property. It's like a parent property. And in that parent property, you get a lot of things like background color, background image, background position, background repeat, a lot of different things. But let's stick to background color as of now, because we're talking about colors, if you remember. Okay. So if let's say I want to set a background color for something like this. Okay. So let's say, well, ruk jao, Preeti, chill. Just give me 1 second. I'll explain everything. Chill. Okay. So let's say I'm gonna set the background color as to be. Give me any favorite color. No, I'm not gonna. Okay. Let's keep it. Let's keep it something. Navy. Are you sure? अभी रुक जाओ डराओ मत यार अरे wait. Baby pink. Okay, just as Rohan said, we'll keep it baby pink. Okay. हाँ ठीक है ना? Even Tejas said baby pink. Now, great. Great. Rohan and Tejas could be good friends, actually. Why is this not working? Let's close this tab and open this up. Got that. Okay. So let's keep it to be a little bit of pink, but a baby pink. Just as you guys said, baby pink. So keep it a damn. Let's open this up on Chrome instead. I think Safari is literally struggling today. But yeah, never mind. So let's go to pink and let's grab a easier color for like baby pink, like just like this, Hannah. So this looks somewhat like a baby pink. So what we can do here, now the best way to get any color. Now, when you talk about colors, also please try and understand this. When you talk about colors, colors are in three ways, or colors are represented in three ways. One is the name. It will be a name, but these named colors are very limited, very, very limited colors like red, green, blue, navy blue, and all that. So these are very rare. Then you have my best and favorite RGB values, which basically shorts for red, green, blue. So there are going to be three values separated by comma, which basically makes a color, right? And then you have a hex color or a hexadecimal code. I'll highly will recommend don't use hexadecimal code, but it's up to you. You can set whatever you color code that you want to set it. You can set it. And color picker basically, बता रहा हूँ अभी. I'll come to that, Kushagra. RGBA क्या होता है? When I'll be creating gradients, then you'll get an idea. Okay. So let's keep it this way. Let's grab the RGB value for this. Let's copy this, come down here, and let's set the value as to be RGB, and let's paste these values down here. Now, if I save this, no, not this, but if I save this and see, you'll see that the color has to be baby pink. Everyone can see that? Everyone is able to see this baby pink color? Yeah. So this is how you can select colors. Okay. Even the hexadecimal code is going to work perfectly fine. You can get this hexadecimal code from here. I don't know where this is. This is the hexadecimal code. So if you copy this code and paste this down here and put a hash in front of it, hash whatever color, save that. And even if you reload the page, you'll see the baby pink color because I've added 2 hashes, but yeah, this way. Got the point? Got the point? Okay. Now, there are a few things you need to keep in mind when you're talking about RGB values. Yeah, exactly. When you're talking about an RGB value, so in the RGB value, as I told you, there are 3 colors that will be coming in. When you talk about RGB, they shorts for red, green, and blue. And combination of them makes a color. So these values ranges from 0 to 255. This also ranges from 0 to 255, and this also ranges from 0 to 255. Okay. All right. And you can make any color out of it. And also, if you talk about the hexadecimal code, it starts from 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6 zeros, and they go up till F, 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 and F. Can someone tell me what's 0, 0, 0, 0? Batao, guys, this is black. This is pure black. And this is pure white. Okay. And even you will see people seeing it that combining both the hexadecimal code and just writing 3 zeros, or you'll also find people just writing 3 Fs. That is also okay for people. Okay. To do it something like this. That is why I said just go ahead and have a look on the units of measurements. Not really important, but yeah, you can go ahead and have a look on that. This makes sense. Colors make sense. You can choose whatever colors you want to. Got the point? Got the point, people? Got the point? Background color अभी बता रहे हैं. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. इससे मैं बस एक थोड़ा gradient बनाना चाह रहा हूँ. And once we're done with gradients, then I'll talk about background colors. Shall we have a look on that? Of course, that will make a blunder, Aryan. वो उसका absolute color लेगा. If you give it anything above 400 or 255, it will take an absolute value of 255. Okay, yeah. Guys, shall we start with gradients? I love gradients. I don't know why, but I use gradients a lot. Start करें? Shall we start? How many of you have seen gradients before? कितने लोगों को पता है कि gradient नाम से भी कोई चीज होती है? पता है? Okay, chalo, nice. So gradients are good. Like they can transform the web page, and I'll tell you how. Okay. So let's talk about gradient. Okay, what are we talking about? We are talking about gradients. So let's see what are gradients. So when you talk about gradients, again, gradients are of two types. Everybody will be like, हर चीज दो type की है. क्या है ये? What is this? Color इतने type के. Gradients इतने type के. ये इतने type का. Colors 3 types के and all that. So yeah, even gradient is no less. Gradients are also of 2 types. So when you talk about gradients, we'll talk about that. When you talk about gradients, there are 2 types of gradients. One is called as a linear gradient, and the another one is called as a radial gradient. And both basically works on different ways. Linear means horizontal. Linear means horizontal. Now that horizontal could be anywhere. We'll talk about that. On a surface. Radial means something circular or oval. Okay. And let's see what do they basically do. Let's have a talk about that. Okay. So when you talk about radial, first let's talk about the linear gradient. So let's say linear gradient. Okay. So for linear gradient, I'll be using the same container one. So I'm just gonna comment this out and save it. Okay. Now in the container, or let's do one thing. Before I comment this out, let me actually grab this, copy this up, and comment everything up and paste this down here. Paste it down here. But rather than background color, we'll do something else. Okay. So if I save this, again, it will give it up. Height and width part. Cool. So now we are talking about linear gradients. Linear gradients are very, very fine, very, very easy thing, but try to wrap your head around with this, that how the linear gradient is working. Okay. So you can set the background color, background color as to be a linear gradient. Okay. So if you just keep it this way, wherein if you want to keep it linear, why is it not coming in down here? LIN. Oh, sorry. Why am I keeping background color? Sorry. It's a background property. Sorry. So linear gradient. So this is a function, a kind of like a function. This function takes 3 values. What does it do? It takes 3 values. At least 3 values, but not less than 3 values. At least 3 values. You can give it like 100 values also, but at least 3 values you need to give it. Okay. What is the 3 values? Let's talk about that. Do you want to stick to pink color, or do you want to like go to some other color? Huh? Badao? Pink color or some other color? Up to you. Sky blue. Change. Okay. Which color should we pick? Which color should we pick? Jaldi batao. Sky blue. Okay, chalo. Preeti says sky blue, so we'll choose sky blue. कुछ ऐसा सा sky blue रखें, और let's make it interactive. एक भयानक वाला blue लेते हैं. This blue seems fine. This वाला seems fine. Okay, this seems fine. ठीक है ना? So let's grab this RGB value. Okay, let's grab this RGB value. And यहाँ पे you have to mention the direction. So linear gradient mein, when you're talking about a linear gradient, you have to give at least these 3 values. So when you're talking about the linear gradient, these will be the 3 values that you'll be giving. What? A direction, first color, and second color. Now, as I said, you can give it hundreds of other values. You can also mention 3rd color, 4th color, 5th color, 100th color, 200th color. It hardly matters. It will still create a gradient. Okay. So let's keep it this way. एक linear gradient बनाते हैं and इसमें direction देते हैं. And how do we give the direction? Let's say to right. Just like this. To right. Or also what you can do is to give the values as to be something to go with degrees, like 90 degrees, 180 degrees. We'll talk about that, but let's keep it to right. Okay, let's just like this, to right. I think I'm writing it right, to right, to right. Then the first color, where the RGB value, which we have just copied, this RGB value. Let's take it a very contrast different color. Give me a contrast color, guys. Any contrast color except for blue? What should we take? Say black. Let's keep it black. Let's keep it black. Oh, okay. Let's keep it green. Violet. No. A contrast color. Let's keep it yellow. Shall we keep it a little bit yellow? Let's keep it a little bit yellow. So blue and yellow is like a very contrast color. So let's keep it this way. Let's grab this value. Okay. And the second color that I want to go is the RGB of this. So let's have a look how the gradient looks like. Now, if I save this, did you see something? This is called as a gradient. So a transition to right, left to right, and it will go from blue and slowly fading down to an absolute color of whatever colors that you might have given it. Okay. And as I said, you can also mention green, black, red, and you'll see the transitions like this. Get the point? These are gradients. So starting from blue, slowly transitioning to yellow, slowly transitioning to green, then transitioning to black, and then transitioning to red. Got the point? How to create gradients? Gradient seems fine. Guys, gradient seems fine, but at least it should have three colors. Oh, three values. The direction, the first color, the second color, and of course, you can go ahead with third color, fourth color also. Now out here, मैं वही करता हूँ. Generally, I do the same thing. What I basically do, I'll tell you one more concept and then I'll move this to. What if it's left? So left will be just like two left. Okay. So two left will be like this. Okay. Two left, you can also have two bottom. So if you keep it to bottom, this is how it looks like. To top, it will look something like this. You can also keep it top right. So this is how it will take you to top right, from bottom left to top right. Then you can keep it bottom right. Also, it will go at something like this. You can keep it whatever directions you want to. Okay, so directions is not a problem. Even what you can do is mention it to degrees. So you can also mention it something like, I'm just giving you the possibilities, by the way. So it could be 90 degree. So 90 degree to the left, that will be to the right, right? So 90 degree starting from the left. So if you keep it 90 degree to the left, that will be, you can even keep it 45, that will be diagonal. So 45 degrees. So diagonal like this, top right. Okay, starting from the left hand side position to 45 degrees. You can keep it even minus 45 degrees also, which will be the opposite of that. Got the point? So these are your linear gradients. अरे यार अब खेल खुद लेना है इसके साथ. तो 30 degrees will be starting from the left. No, center में कुछ नहीं है. Center के लिए you will have to use radial gradients. That we'll talk about in a little while. Guys, linear gradient makes sense. कैसे लगी linear gradients? Was it fine? So these are your linear gradients. Before I move to linear gradients, one more thing that I just want to explain you, that is called as an absolute value. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's copy this and comment this off. Okay. And paste it down here. Ooh, ये क्या हो गया? This is a blender. No, I don't want that. Just want this part. So copy this, paste it down. Now, rather than giving it like all these weird colors, let me actually tell you how I work. Like, this is my personal experience. You can use it whatever you want. Now, what I generally do, I fade the color down for the background generally. So there is a value, there is a color which is called as RGBA value, which basically A shorts for absolute value or opacity. You can call it whatever you want to, though it's called as absolute. So what I generally do, I give it a 1 value, and then it will slowly fade it down to, let's say, 0.4, let's say. Okay, now if I save this, you'll see a slowly transitioning value. Can you see that? A slow transitions. I generally make it like this, generally. And just to be on a very clear note, let's keep it this way so that you understand the A value correctly. And if I save this and keep this to be 0.4, you will slowly will understand this is how it is. So starting from, or let's keep it, rather than keeping it degrees, let's actually keep it to left, okay, so that you understand it properly. Okay, so starting from a light background, slowly fading it to a dark background, or you can keep it to 0.4 and slowly breaking it down to, let's say, 1 or something like that. So it takes to this value and slowly take it down to a lighter value. So if you keep it to bottom and save that, so this is how it looks like. Starting from a light value, or let's keep it, let's say, to top. So starting from a dark value, slowly transitioning down to a lighter value. That would be pretty cool if we copy this up or cut this down from here. And rather than getting a selector, so body is also a selector for us, and let's keep the background for the body as to be something like this. And this is how your website looks like now. Got the point? Got the point, guys, now? So slowly when you comes down, a little down to your website, the color will fade down, okay? So this way. So rather let's keep it like this. So let's keep it 0. Or let's keep this to be a little bit more. Let's keep it 0.7 so that it will fade down a little bit. Got the point? Now this looks a little bit more better. Okay, so you can use it however that you want to. But also what we can do, rather that was looking nice, that which we were using like before. I don't know if I used it that way. I changed it like multiple times though, but yeah. I think this was looking nice, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this was looking nice. Let's actually make this as to be the background though. This background was looking nice. So let's give it to the body and save that. So this is how it looks like. Got the point, guys? This looks a little bit better. So let's keep it this way. The opacity, please. So dikhaya to abhi opacity. So if you keep it down here, and let's keep the background, just the background property, and let's keep it to be a linear gradient. And the linear gradient is, let's say, to left. So by default, the opacity is going to be, let's say, whatever value that you have to get it down from there. So let's say I'm just gonna mark it to red, let's say. So I'm just gonna take this lighter red color. This looks nice. So slightly lighter red color. And let's give it an RGBA value and paste this up and give it an absolute value of 1. And then I'll give it a RGBA value, set this value and give, or fading value, I'm just going to give it to 0.3. Right, save this, go back to my cheat sheet. This is how it looks like. Got the point? Got the point? So this is the absolute value. So if you keep it to right rather, because it should be going to the right rather than coming to the left. So starting from an absolute value, 1 value, to the right of fading value. Got the point? And the more you will keep it, or the more you will be like, if you keep it like completely 0, it will just fade it down like completely. Okay. So if you keep it starting from 1 to 0, 0 is just completely gonna fade like anything. Okay. Got the point, people? Guys, linear gradient makes sense, colors make sense, backgrounds make sense. How to set the background colors and all that thing. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have. Do you want to have a look on radial gradient? Radial gradient, dekhna hai? Want to have a look on radial gradients? How many of, okay, chalo, theek. I'm not pretty sure this is, I'll finish off with radial, even I'm tired. So Saturday, I just don't want to disturb you anyway. How many of you like, okay, by the way, we have a class on tomorrow also. So jokes on you. Okay. So for the people who are being like, oh, this is a weekend, joke's on you, tomorrow is also a class. So yeah, welcome to Innomatics. Okay. Check. Anyways, so let's do it this way. Nahi maza aa raha to we can stop. It's fine. It's fine. It's completely fine. If you're feeling it like kind of like a burden, that's fine. Huh? Band kar de? Let's end the session, hai na? What do you say? Let's end the session. Kya karna hai? Continue? Sure. Chalo. So let's quickly have a look on radial gradients. Okay. So let's do it this way. This was funny. Anyways, I'm not gonna tell out the joke though, but yeah, that was funny. I like it. I'm not gonna take out names, but yeah, I like it. Nice. Acha? Preeti will like certificate. Everybody here is a certificate. Nice. Upload today's recording. Yeah, I'll do that. Please don't worry about that. Okay. So what did I do? Let's keep it this way. Let's keep the container 2 as well. And let's set the height and width property of the same. So I'm also keeping the height as to be again 300 pixels and width to be, let's say 70% or something. So I'm keeping here percent. You can also use view width or whatever you want. Okay. Now there is another background property or a background thing, which is called as radial. Wow, I cannot even write background today. Never mind, it's fine. So there is something which is called as a radial gradient. Yesterday's session is not recorded because of few technical glitches, as you say it. But yeah, again, now don't rush on to me, but yeah, this happens. So radial gradient, let's take it the bare minimum thing. Radial gradient, basically you can use however that you want to. Now radial gradient, as I just told you, it's gonna be circular anyways. Okay, so it's circle. You cannot define directions out here. So we don't define much directions. We just give it colors. So let's first see the minimum part first. So let's say starting from black and slightly fading to tomorrow will be the last lecture. Yes, yes, yes. So let's say black. Let's keep it red, yellow, green, violet, blue. बहुत सारे colors डालेंगे यहाँ पे हम लोग. Blue. What else? Pink. Pink है क्या? हाँ, pink भी है. Pink. और बताओ. Colors बताओ. Purple. और बताओ. नारंगी है वो नहीं पता. वो इसको नहीं पता. Olive green. I don't know if we have it. So olive we have. Orange. Let's keep it orange. And last magenta. I don't know if they have it magenta. Yeah, they have magenta also. Never mind, but last we will fade it to white. Let's see it. देखें एक बार देखें इसको. Let's see it so that you get an idea. Okay, let's see it. If I save this, I don't know what will it make. No, wait a second. I did something wrong. Oh, I actually have to make it a circle. So यहाँ पे हम पहले first we will keep it a circle, then we'll give it a black and all these things. Okay, so that way. So save that. अरे लिख क्यों नहीं रहा है? This is container 2, right? Oh, nice. I now cannot even write containers. Thanks. Container 2, am I doing something wrong or something? Container 2, I've not used radial gradients for quite a long time now though. So I'm just keeping radial gradient. And I'm just giving values. Wait. Background radial gradient circle. And I'm giving the values. Okay, let's start with like few values first, and then we'll cram this off. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. Okay, and then if I keep it this way, oh, violet is not a color. Oh, that makes sense. So let's keep it this way. So now you'll be able to see a deadly combination. दिख रहा है सब लोगों को deadly combination? So this is what radial gradients basically are. Starting from black, then going to red, then slowly fading to yellow, then green, then blue, then purple, then kind of like olive, something, something, something. Yeah, a zoomy eye, something like that. Okay, so this is radial gradients. You'll not use radial gradients much, but you got the idea. Okay, you got the idea. Got the idea, right? That is the next Amazon background. Yeah. Have you seen that? And the series called Death Note? है ना? It looks like Shinigami's eye. है ना? है ना? Yeah. Chal, never mind. A weird example, but an example. Shinigami. Okay, honestly, rude. How many of you actually wanted to be that guy, like having a note and writing everybody's name? No. If I would have, no, let it be. But yeah, it would have been fun. Like just for testing purposes, it would have been fun. Light was actually like what to talk about it, but yeah. So git commit today, what have we done? We have had to look on different selectors. And what else did we do? Different selectors. And what else have we done? Different selectors. Then colors, gradients, and backgrounds. Okay, that's what we've done. Tomorrow is the last lecture, bro. Tomorrow is the last lecture. Oh, I got the video link. Do you want it? Yesterday's video link. I just got it. I think it's uploaded. Do you want it? Git push. I git push. Just a second, huh? I have to stop the screen share because it's shared on WhatsApp. So just give me a little second. And guys, please don't forget to submit your assignments today. If you don't give me the assignments, I'll not give you the certificate. Okay, so please keep that in mind. हाँ, yesterday's lecture का ही दे रहा हूँ मैं आप लोगों को chat section. Okay, so here's the link, so you can go with the link. Okay, if you give me assignment, if you give me assignment, I'll give you certificate. If you don't give me assignment, I'll not give you certificate. है ना? Fair enough? Fair and square game. है ना? It makes more sense. Discord link. then मैं updated Discord link दे दूंगा आप लोगों को. ठीक है? I'll give you the updated link. Okay. So here you will be able to find out the commits, and here is what we have done for the day. You'll find out everything now here. So I'm just gonna copy this up for the people who don't have it. कौन सा course भैया? कौन सा course? Where are the assignment? The assignment is in the Discord. Huh. So in the Discord, you'll be able to find out the assignment. Here's the assignment. Anna? Here's the assignment. React.js, AngularJS. Huh, of course, we'll have a look on it. Guys, here's the assignment. So please have a look on your assignment. Sir, I lost my. Oh, hello, Rohan. Hello. We have also been there. So please don't do this to me. So lost हो गया फिर बनाओ. ठीक है ना? 4 बजे तक का टाइम है. बैठो और बनाओ. Okay. Shinto manage this channel. Okay, let's do it this way. तुम्हें assignment को लेने में problem है ना? I'll make it easier for you, है ना? So that I don't hear the कि नहीं हो रहा है and all that. Let's paste it here rather, है ना? यहाँ paste करते हैं. Yellow assignment. और इस assignment में link, wing सब कुछ है यहाँ पे. सब है यहाँ पे. मिल गया सबको? हाँ? अब तो नहीं है Discord and all that. अब तो कर लेंगे सब लोग submit. हाँ, so do one thing, guys. I'll show you one submission, and he has done it like quite good though. So yeah, I'll just give you the So do it that way rather. That would be like more beneficial for you and for other people as well. And for your own reference purposes also. So he has done nice. The first person to submit it. So if I copy this, paste it down here. So do one thing, whatever questions, theoretical questions that you have, no, just 4 p.m., just 4 p.m. So you'll see how he has added everything down here in just one HTML. So if I render this HTML, I'll be able to see everything. Got it now? So do it this way. All the theory part and everything, do it here. Write your theories here, just like this. Got the point? Guys, got the point? So create one HTML and write everything inside that. Okay? So keep it that way. Can I give assignment again by completed it better? You can definitely can do that. No extension of the time. Sorry. No. I posted it yesterday itself. You are not there to attend it. I gave it yesterday, right? Before lunch, before even second half. I posted up that. Where to submit it? Read the notes. When you'll open it, there will be notes written down there. You'll be able to see it. Okay, all the notes will be there. Okay, how to submit it, where to submit it, and all that. No. I just need assignments. I don't know how to do the assignments. How would I join? Where? In the image in body. Okay, so for images, what you can do, I'll tell you images yet tomorrow in very, very detail, but just as of for now, if you want to add images, what you can do is give it a URL rather. So background, as I said, it's a big property. So you can just be like background and just say URL and give it whatever URL you want. Let's say just for understanding purposes, let's get a background image. So let's say background image for website, let's say. Okay, and then let's keep it this way. I think this looks nice. So I'll just copy the image address and just gonna paste it here. But as of now, just for testing purposes. So I save this, put my cheat sheet, you'll be, no. Oh, what have I done? Oh, why have I kept it in the container? Oh no, I want it into the container, rather I want it here. I'm just gonna comment this off and rather write background. That's for the URL to this. Okay, it's gonna repeat, but we'll talk about that repeating part in tomorrow's session. Okay, so just use URL and use whatever you want. Okay, so just the URL part you can do. Okay, and I'm just gonna bring this back so that it looks better. Okay, so this is how we can do it. All right, how much time will it take? It's not gonna take much time. Even if you sit, like on honest perspective for an hour, I think it will be complete. Okay, so yeah. All right, let's keep it till here for the day, guys. No. Still, I'll share it out with you. Okay, I'll do it for you. And I'll also close. And Discord link you want? There's a Discord link. Oh, I just shared it to just one person. Guys, I'm literally getting late for another meeting, another important meeting for me. So yeah, if you'd be having any doubts, you can put that in the Discord DMs. DM kar dena mere ko, I'll explain it to you. Okay. Assignment is already shared in the chat section. Please have a look on it. And thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm getting a little bit late. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. We'll be meeting tomorrow. If you'd be having any doubts, please put it in the Discord DMs or LinkedIn DMs. Again, I'll help you and answer them back. Can you show the social media handle links? Okay, I'll do that quickly. It'll not take much time. Bye, 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 bye. I shared it the link here. Look. Okay. So you can do is you can bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. So bye bye. So here's my LinkedIn just in case if you wanna go ahead and have a look on it. And you can also follow us up on Innomatics. So we'll be coming off with we'll be coming off with internships in a while. So yeah, it's the Innomatics link. Okay. So yeah, you can DM me here as well. That's it. Yeah, time to submit before 4 p.m. Before 4 p.m. please. Huh? Sure. All right then, thank you so much for joining. We'll be meeting tomorrow. Okay. And tomorrow is going to be the last session. All right then. So see you tomorrow then. Okay. No, 4 p.m. means 4 p.m. No more extensions. Okay. Sure. All right then. Bye guys. Thank you so much. We'll be meeting tomorrow. Don't forget to attend tomorrow. Okay? Bye. Peace. Bye bye. Bye bye. Discord, Ravi, text me up on LinkedIn. I'm getting really late for a meeting. Okay? Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.